G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. This is game number 2 in the series between the Mister and the Muslim. Spawning in on the north side of the map, playing as the Malians, we've got the Mister. And on the south side of the map, playing in the blue as the Ottomans. It is the Muslim, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second game. We are here on Lipany. There's been a couple of changes to Lipany. I'm not sure exactly what changes they are, but apparently the cliffs are meant to be a little bit better. Does seem quite open throughout the middle. Still quite a wallable map. Now, of course, we've got this second game in the series coming up. This is a best of 5, well, a best of 5 play all 5 hosted by EGC TV. If you're unaware of EGC TV, well, what rock have you been sleeping under? And how'd you fit a king-size mattress underneath it? Because damn, that must be comfy. EGC TV have been hosting up tournaments for quite some time. And they put this one on for us, so make sure you go check them out this weekend, 15 GMT, Saturday and Sunday, for some Road to Red Bull Wallalol action. But with that being said, let us begin to talk about what the direction is for, I guess, these two civilizations so far. Already we've seen players beginning to build a meta. So for the Malians, it seems to be largely about, now we can't actually see the landmark by clicking this, but it's largely about it's like a big uvu, I guess is the best way to say it. It trickles in gold, it trickles in stone, depending on what you like. That's the most common one for the Malians. And then over on the other side, for the Ottomans, we've seen a bit of a shift, a bit of a change. Initially, it was very much so a focus on the Berry landmark, which is the twin minaret madrasa. But now it's been a bit more shifted over towards the marketplace landmark. And especially on a map like this, where you've got a trading post nice and close by in the base, it could make a lot of sense for you to be dropping down your trading landmark right here, and then rallying out your traders to this trade post, and then sending them to a market in this corner. So we'll have to look to see whether the Muslim looks to utilize that today. By the same token, Mister, though, he's obviously aware of the trading post up on his side of the map, so he could look to do the same thing. Both of these civilizations have got pretty damn decent trading mechanics, so you can see the developers are really trying to push trade, into the meta. It definitely feels a little bit like fetch, like stop trying to make fetch a thing, stop trying to make trade a thing. Well, I like the fact that they're doing it. It's important for us to have trade in this game. It opens up diversity, and to be honest, it really triggers a lot of aggression. If you see your enemy is trading, you got to address it, and you got to address it quickly. But now we've got a couple of villagers coming out from the Mister. Interesting opening here for going for the mining camp. This is something that, to me, kind of indicates that he might even be thinking about a fast castle. Now, obviously, I've got no idea what the hell happens in this game, but I've just noticed, like, you don't actually need to go for a mining camp at all with this civilization if you don't want to. You can very, very capably just use houses around a mining camp or pit mine, and that will produce more than enough gold for you to age up, for you to get your upgrades and all that whatnot. But now we are going to see the landmark coming down. No surprise, it is the Mansa Quarry. That was the landmark that I was alluding to. The other landmark is a landmark that's focused on trade. And I guess at the moment, people just looking to play standard, not really looking to explore too much. Now, it is going to be the twin minaret madrasa coming down, or madrasa. I don't know what the actual pronunciation is here. I guess I'm where I'm from, we say madrasa, but that's referring to like a monastery or a mosque. More of like a university, I guess. But I guess it's madres, so maybe a little bit different there, kind of like sipahi or mehta, something like that. Obviously, it's an Ottoman theme, but very early age up here coming in from the Muslim. Now, one of the main things that we see at the moment with the Ottomans and the current meta for them is a heavy focus on a second town center. They play very Eurocentric, and I say Eurocentric, obviously they are. I mean, they're kind of a little bit in between, European, Middle East, and that sort of thing. All my Turkish bros, calm down. I'm talking geographically. So I guess the thing for me is that it's a very standard civilization, and naturally you do see players tend to move towards that kind of standard 2TC play, and that's mirrored essentially what we see in the main client. Obviously, this is the public update preview. There's been a couple of changes, but obviously not enough to pip the 2TC from the top spot. The Muslim now going to be scouting out around onto the pit mine, and God, doesn't it just look good? The quality here, I don't know, maybe it's just my 4K. For anybody wondering, I actually recently upgraded from a 3070 to a 3090. I know, it kind of feels like I've gone from a Ferrari to a Lamborghini. I mean, both of them are impressive cards, but I don't know, I can't remember. I may have when I reinstalled, not turned off HDR textures, and it looks that good. I don't know. It looks it just looks amazing to me. But anyway, I digress. We'll take a look at how Muslim's doing. Second town center, probably going to be coming up. Actually, I don't know if that's the best spot. He might look to go somewhere out here. Nice. It'll actually secure out a pretty decent portion of to land out there and double up on that food resource. But it looks like it's going to be behind the base on the trading post to the south side of the map. We're yet to see our first Vizier point spent. He is slowly but steadily working towards it, 47 out of 60. Now, keep in mind, your villagers do also count towards your Vizier points. Technology, I don't think counts towards it, so you can see the wheelbarrow about to come in, 47. That was 49 for the villagers, and there it is. So technology doesn't increase it anymore. In the interview with Bert at Gamescom, he did mention technology increases it. So I guess that must have been something that they changed, maybe to reduce the balance down. And now we've got a mill coming down here for the Mister in the base. I don't know exactly what this is all about. Instead of looking to mill up the berries, where he's put a market down, this is quite curious. I guess this is probably a bit more about getting out cows, and he's got them safe underneath the town center so that they don't potentially die out here. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. And now he's got a cattle ranch going. So going to be producing cattle and sending it into the cattle ranch nice and early. Now, one of the other things to note is that the Malians do unlock access to a second pit mine once they reach the second age. They unlock one each age. And we're yet to see that drop down by the mystery. He's got plenty of wood in the bank. And now Muslim with that second TC up. So both players opening with a second TC, and it looks like Muslim might even be thinking about a third TC. And I think that's an absolutely fine play. You're going to have increased tempo as the game goes on. And so if you've got that second TC up and your opponent's already got one up, then by all means, a third TC is a more than welcome attribute, I guess you could say, or a more than welcome, a more than justified cause. But we do see plenty more cows being rallied here. He's also dropped down a second pasture. Now, keep in mind, these pastures aren't cheap, 100 wood. So it's a big investment here up front, 100 wood, 300 gold, but it's going to trickle in a huge amount of resources here. And this is something I've sort of theorized about, is that you've got the Malians, which are a civilization that can essentially field a huge army without having such a huge villager population, because they've got pit mines, which serve here. You can see this is already more gold than a relic. And they can potentially take a second one, and then a third one, and then a fourth, and technically this is 4.5. And so now you've got essentially like 5 relics of gold in the bag, which works out to be about 15 villages, maybe a little bit less now that they've been nerfed, maybe 13, 12 villages or something like that. But then in addition to that, you've also got pastures, which can be utilized, and it's 28 food a minute that comes in. Where are they? Here we go. 28 food per minute for each cow, and you can have up to 20 cows that are sitting inside those pastures. So that is a total, when you think about it, of 560 food a minute coming in that's not raidable. I mean, you can burn it down. You can burn a pasture down, definitely. They've only got 500 health on them. But you guys get where I'm coming from. There's a lot of resources that the Malians are going to have access to that they're not necessarily going to need villagers to gain control of. But now the Muslim going to be dropping down that third town center, and we start to see the military schools coming out. He's got the ability to research the Imperial Council's first technology. He's going to have 3 up for grabs here. So the first one is field work, definitely something to look for if you're thinking about heading up to the castle age shortly. The second one, meta drums, something that we haven't seen a lot of. I think primarily the reason why we don't see a lot of meta drums is it seems quite hard to use, quite difficult to use the meta drums, just because you have to have, there's a lot of parameters. You've got to have them grouped together. They've got to be, you know, they've got to be close by, all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, we've got Anatolian Hills, which spawn 8 sheep at the town center and also increase the villager mining speed by 10%. Now, that, of course, affects both your villagers on gold as well as your villagers on stone. So it is a nice little upgrade there. And obviously, it stacks with the specialized pick. But remember, you've got mitigating returns on those upgrades. But it's essentially an extra 25% gather rate early on if you can pair it up with one of those. Now, one of the key things to note with the Vizier points for the Ottomans is that to access the second level and the third level, respectively, you're going to need to invest in the second level and the third level, respectively. So a lot of respect, a lot of levels, but it'll mean that if we want to grab these next 3 levels, that we're going to have to pick at least one of these. And if you want to grab all 3 of these, then you're not going to be able to go down into these straight away. It's a tiered system. But now, the Muslim going to be spotting this out. We can see his scout running by, and he's thinking, what the hell's going on here? I like that he's got the mills just around the pastures. Now, one of the things to note is that Mr. probably will be looking to drop down the big cattle landmark here, because that's going to further increase this this amount for the cows. So at the moment, this is going to, cows are going to be producing 28. Oh, it went for the Farimba Garrison. Very curious. So Farimba Garrison going to be coming down, but essentially the other landmark that you've got access to here as the Malians buffs up these cattle even further, and they go from generating 28 food a minute to generating 48 food a minute. And obviously you can make 20 of them, which gives you a total of 1,000 food a minute. So it's a pretty huge amount of food that you've got trickling in for the rest of the game. But with the Farimba Garrison coming in, I would expect some sort of timing coming through from the Mister. And we can see right now that's exactly what it's going to be, 24 villagers on gold. He's also got this a gold mine over on this position, and already beginning to bring that villager in over on this eastern side. We can see the house is going to be coming up shortly around this. He might have to think about re-walling this position. But a very passive opening so far. Muslim going to be moving out across the map with the Sipahi. He's still got that Imperial Council yet to be researched. So I'm curious why he's taking so long. The Castle Age is about to come through. It's going to be the Istanbul Imperial Palace. And so this is going to be able to buff up a whole bunch of your buildings around this. So this radius is essentially going to double the points. Remember, we talked a little bit more about the points, but we do see the first of the Vizier points being spent. It's going to be field work into military campus. So I would say almost a little bit of a mistake here from Muslim. Ideally, what you can do is go for field work in the feudal age and then move these imams out to the relics, so that as soon as you hit the third age, you can just left click them, kind of like prelates, kind of like your Delhi scholar. It's the exact same thing. So you can get them out, maybe even really aggressive positions, and as soon as you age up, you can pick them up. But he did wait until he reached the third age for that one, so maybe a little bit of a tip for your games. And then military campus increases the military schools that can be built by +1. So now not only does he have access to a third one, but a fourth one because he's also aged up. So the Imperial Palace, or the Istanbul Imperial Palace, it is going to give him a whole bunch of more Vizier points. So it's going to enable him to reach the plus, or increase the limit by +2. So I think that means he can go from 7 up to 9. And then of course it's going to give him a little bit more generation. So it doubles each of your buildings within this radius and their generation of points. So we can see there it's 120 points for our next Vizier. The town center, it takes 2 points for a town center, or for a villager, but that's actually going to increase it by 4 because it's within the radius of the Istanbul Imperial Palace. So very nice positioning here from Muslim on this one. He's also got the blacksmith here, which is going to be buffing up the time it takes for these units to come out. So not only do you have units coming out faster, but you've also got more points for creating those units to go towards the Vizier system. And ideally, you want to get as many as you can on the board, because there's a lot of really cool techs in here. Very focused on the military, things like Advanced Academy, things like fast training, and of course we've got siege crews, which is really important once you get into the late game, because you've essentially got a way to get plus 25% attack speed all the time. It also increases the speed that your siege is going to be unpacking and packing up, which is pretty important. First of the units making their way across the map, it's going to be veteran javelin throwers coming out, and it looks like it's going to be some Donzos coming up the rear as well. So this is a combination that I've theorized is probably the best combination to go for at the moment with this civilization. The Malians are a little bit weird in the way that their counter system works. It's going to take some time for you to learn exactly what their units do and the best way to counter them, but at the moment you can pretty much assume that the javelin thrower is going to counter any ranged unit, especially archers, and the Donzo is going to counter everything else. So it's a pretty heavy infantry combo, but now we've got Sipahi looking like they're going to be trying to siege their way through a wall, and already you can see the damage coming out. The veteran Donzo is going to be throwing off their little arrows, and now we've got some long-range siege coming in as well with the veteran javelin thrower. Now, I don't know how much damage these guys do when they siege, but I suspect probably not a lot. I guess, well, villager going to get spotted out here. Look at those javelins. Don't you just love the way that they throw the javelins? Villager does actually manage to survive, and now Sipahi going to be coming in. Donzo's on the front line, going to be able to shred through this. Keep in mind, Donzo's and the Wallalo going to be dropped down. Mister going to have to fall back away from that position. A huge amount of units here. I'm loving the tempo that he's gained from this. We're 14 minutes into this game, but I tell you what, he's absolutely come out of the box swinging with this, and now more units coming across the map in groups of 5. Siege engineering has been completed, and it looks like he might be thinking about potential rams, and indeed it is going to be rams coming out. We'll take a look and see what kind of upgrades he's got back here. Looks like he's got tier 1 for the wood cutting. Has yet to pick up wheelbarrow, has yet to pick up horticulture, but does not have the specialized pick either. Siege Workshop going to be coming on the front side here. Looks like a villager or two might be making their way down, and Muslim going to be on the defensive. We do see he's got a Mangonel in queue, going to be dropping down his own double Siege Workshop on the backside here. We've got the Knights that have come out as well, so just remember those Donzos, very effective. If we get a little look here, let's see if we can find a Donzo. There we go, so 23 damage against cavalry, and they've also got 9 damage on the spear. And important to remember that the ranged spear that they throw, as far as I'm aware, also count as cavalry. So yeah, you can hit your enemy pretty damn hard with it. But now going to be focusing on those military schools. Unfortunately, in the front of the base, they're going to be some of the first buildings here that get focused down by the Mr. Muslim going to be on the defensive. Mangonel getting off a nice little shot here. A lot of extra damage coming out in that javelin throw. It is a ranged unit, so remember the Mangonel does well. And now we've got the 4th tech going to be coming in. Fast training was already researched, so I'm suspecting we might see a Janissary company come through. But he does only have the 3 Imperial Councils, or rather the 3... military schools, so he's not going to be able to get the full value out of that. Ideally, you'd want 4 or even 5 in the Imperial Age, but it is a great way to help out in a little bit of a pinch. Janissary, very effective against cavalry, but obviously against a military or an infantry composition like this, it makes it a little bit more difficult. And Mangonel's getting some shots off on the battering rams. The Muslim trying his best to hold on with the second blacksmith under threat. Now the military school going to be coming up right next to the blacksmith. We'll check in with the Muslim and see how he's working it. And indeed, it was the Janissaries that come through. So Janissary is going to be able to bolster this position a little bit more. The Janissary, a unique unit for the Ottomans. Available in the 3rd age, it is a hand cannoneer replacement. So similar to your Streltsy, it is a unique to the Ottomans. But now the Janissary 16 ranged attack, only 3.5 range, but they do get that bonus against cavalry. So it's if you've ever played Age of Empires 3, it's like a Carolian. They've got range damage against cavalry, but now firing off the Mangonel shots. It looks like the outpost probably going to be burning down here slowly and steadily. Goldvein about to be exhausted. It should open up this position a little bit more for him. Muslim working towards that Imperial Age. Villager count at the moment, 106 villagers for him. Over on the Mister's side, 86. So a 20 villager deficit, but keep in mind that there are more than enough gold veins out on the map that have got these pit mines around them. 112. It's actually got a nice little open space over there. I like the way he's got multiple mining camps down there as well, just helping out. Now, pit mine's back here. I want to take a look and see whether this pit mine continues making gold. Indeed, it does, despite that gold vein being exhausted. And now we've got ourselves a little bit of action. We'll enter into the cinematic mode as the Muslim and Mr. look to try and begin this battle. My one concern is just how many Donzos we've got out here. The Donzo numbers are looking very, very strong. And these guys are going to be able to tank up the majority of this little opening here. The javelin throwers on the backside going to get opened up. The Springwood's doing a decent job of taking out the Mangonels. Mangonels looking to try and loom upon that. The Janissaries on the backside firing off, but there doesn't seem to be too much of a counter here to those Donzos. The Donzos just running rampage through this. I'm thinking against the Malians, it might seem decent to go archers and Mangonels. Mangonels to deal with the skirmisher units. But then I guess you can go for Springwoods. But now the Muslim going to get forced away from this position. And already we can see the Mister will head back out of the cinematic mode right now. But yeah, the Mister closing out this second game very, very nicely in this mid-castle age. We'll take a look at the Muslim, and he is going Imperial at this point. We'll try and see where that landmark is coming down. I don't actually see it. I can see that it's being created. It's not going to be over here. There it is. It's going to be on the backside, the Istanbul Observatory. And you can't help but think that the Seagate Fortress, the Seagate Keep, the Seagate Castle might have been a better decision here up on this defensive. It makes it very difficult to hold. But obviously, the Istanbul Observatory is going to be producing a few more units, and it does give him access to that university immediately. But now those Mangonels still teeing off towards this position. We start to see the next Vizier points coming in. The question is, where do you go from here? I mean, realistically, your enemies in your base killing your dudes. It's going to be the Advanced Academy that he goes for. So hopefully he's going to be able to move into Knights now. Knights are always going to be a great way to produce, just simply because they're quite gold heavy. But now the Istanbul Observatory does come in. We could look to see an Imperial upgrade straight away, but the Macro unfortunately struggling at the moment as the Mister goes for a forward keep drop. Mister looking incredible in this second game here. Obviously winning out the first one. He's looking good in this play all 5 best of 5. I say play all 5 best of 5. I guess it's really just a play all 5, isn't it? It is a 5-game series. But now that keep going to be coming up, and Mister looking to really close out this game. We're yet to see any trebuchets on the field just yet from him, but he's got battering rams in queue, and he's going to be using them as the majority of his siege here. We start to hear relics getting picked up as well. It's going to be that relic all the way back home. The Imam picking it up. I think this might be the first time I'm laying my eyes on the Imam of the Malians. He's picked that one up now. Now, nice little raid over towards the east side. These guys are going to get cleaned up completely. The Sipahi just going to be able to annihilate them. I suspect he's probably used Fortitude here as well. We can see that I don't know whether the ability's been used or what's happened, or whether maybe they've used it before they entered combat. But a little bit of a raid coming in on this other side. +2 damage also here. And the keep on the front side. Oh my lord, there it is, baby. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. oh my lord, watch out. 11 damage, 190 siege damage, which is going to be one-shotting. I think that one-shots your Mangonels. I think that one-shots your Springalds. So Springled gets one-shot completely. We've got the second Great Bombards coming out. Muslim bringing the big boys in. And oh my lord, I get excited because these things are like Mangonels. Okay, so I saw a clip where these things actually come out incredibly strong against infantry. It is literally an 11 range Mangonel that you can't dodge. I mean, you can split, but you can't dodge. Let's just put it that way. And now we've got Muslim on the defensive here. It gets really difficult at this point in time. I mean, he's just... He's having such a hard time, and now Donzos, as well as the javelin throwers, going to be spotting out this position. Actually, I think it might just be complete javelin throwers. It's hard to tell the difference between these units at this point. Obviously, it's going to take time for us to begin recognizing these new units that are coming through, but the Muslim village account now dropping down to 101. Over on the other side of the map, 105 for the Mister. Great Bombards looking to fire off at the infantry coming through. Nice little shots, and it looks like Mister might be thinking about going up to the Imperial Age as well. We'll take a look and see which landmark he opts for as the Imperial Age is just about to hit. Now, I'm trying to think, was it the, I think it's the Seagate. Yeah, it's Seagate that the Ottomans get, isn't it? Now we've got the Age 4 landmark coming through. It's going to be Fort of the Huntress for the Mister. So this gives up a nice invisibility bonus here, and actually should work pretty well against the Great Bombards. Just simply because it becomes very difficult to push that position without trebuchets. But Great Bombard now firing off towards the infantry. It looks like 2 of them did go down. Some decent AoE out there as well. 3 Bombards. He's trying his best to hold on this position. Ideally, you'd love to see some Janissaries or something coming out from him. Let's see how he does on the second shot. I'm liking this Bombard already. This Bombard is what is going to be setting the difference here between the Ottomans and the other civilizations, firing off once again. Now, remember, you can garrison inside these Bombards, and they fire 25% faster. We can see he's got it researched right now. Siege Crew, so allows siege engines to be garrisoned by infantry, while garrison attack and setup speed is increased by 25%. But now, once again, looks like that cleanup on the south side. Not enough Donzos here to defend. Looks like he's only got a single veteran Donzo that's out, but Mister has reached the Imperial Age. We start to see the upgrades come through. This is the classic Imperial Age wheelbarrow for the Mister at 22 minutes. Something that is unique to the Mister. Very, very strong wheelbarrow timing here. This is obviously a meme. But we've got roller shutter triggers coming in. One of the few ways you're actually going to be able to counter the Great Bombards, or the... they are the Great Bombard, right? Yeah, the Great Bombard is actually with the roller shutter trigger sprinkled. So the roller shutter trigger sprinkled has got more range. It's got 12 range against the 10 range of the Great Bombard, or rather 11 range against the Great Bombard. But clearing out the first keep, and now we've got the Muslim looking to fight back here. You can see the Bombard numbers looking very healthy for him. He's up to 3 Bombards at this point in time, I think. We've got more units moving out over towards the west side of the map, and now the Muslim going to be catching a few of his enemy off guard. Let's take a look, and you can see he's got Fortitude under the influence of Fortitude now. No meta to be seen, unfortunately, but he's going to be able to clean that gold mine up completely. You can see that Mister is just moving out and about onto this map, almost nomadic. But also going to be dropping in some Culverin. I totally forgot Malians have got access to the Culverin. An equally effective unit against those Great Bombards with their 11 range is the Culverin, because it's got 12 range on it. A little bit more health as well, so less likely to get sniped out. Villagers idle. 92 villagers versus 107. Keep in mind the relic count at the moment. 1 in the bag here under the mosque. There's a second one coming in. Bombard's firing off towards the front. Boom, 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 boom. Get the Venga boys out. He's got a nice little split, though, on this position as the Donzos move in towards it. Veteran or elite Sipahi just looking very good. A bit of a counterattack up towards the north. Nothing up here to defend for the moment. But now Donzo's going to be able to clean up this position. Elite Donzos, by the way. Don't mess with the Donzo. 28 extra damage against cavalry. Let's see if they can throw off any spears right as they reach their end point. Doesn't look like it. There we go, there we go. Oh, there we go. Watch out, watch out. Looks like he might pick up 1 of them on the way out. So, it's not terrible, but it's pretty decent. And now coming through, this is a smart thing. focusing down these pit mines, essentially cutting the beast off at the neck. But Bombards, they're going to be my main concern here just because of the Culverin. He's got 3 of the Bombards out for the moment, sitting up at 189 population, 188 population. But Mr. obviously knowing that the best way to deal with these is going to be his own counter siege. So I think the question is, how does Mr. look to defend his own siege or his own counter siege? Because the counterattacks have well and truly begun here. Elite Sipahi moving around the map. He's going to try and repair this wall, but unfortunately the hole in the wall gets broken down. Immediately drops down some stone walls here, but you can just see the Sipahi surrounding them. And now we've got the Muslim just playing it very smart, but at the same time a little bit of a push coming through on the front side. And now the Muslim going to have to try and defend. We're going to be riding on board with him here as he looks to try and hold on against this inevitable push of the Malians. Culverin moving forward. Ideally, you want to have these taken out. Donzo numbers not looking the healthiest. Big shots coming in from downtown. We enter into the cinematic mode as they look to try and get some misconnections. Let's see how he does it. Mangonel's over from the left side. Bombard's falling back. He's looking to try and focus down the Springles. They've all fallen to the front. And with this, Demuslim going to be able to clean up this position completely. He's going to be trying his best. The Bombards come in from the bottom of the screen. Looking good, looking strong. Get him out, boys. Get him out. Ooh. Oh, you just love to see it. And they do hold on. The great Bombard defense is well and truly established, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that defense. Absolutely beautiful. And now we've got a bit of a problem for the Mister as the Muslim begins pushing upon his base. We've got big raids coming in. He's got battering rams coming towards his position to try and help out with the Sipahi. The Donzos are going to be all that he needs. But unfortunately, having a bit of trouble keeping up with him. Another raid coming in over on the stone mine. The Muslim looking to start tearing apart at this Malian offensive position. More Great Bombards coming through. Now, keep in mind, Great Bombards, an effective weapon against everything except for siege. Now, these guys have got 220 health compared to the Great Bombard. I think these guys do like 190. Now, I wonder with chemistry, do you one-shot Culverin? If you do, Bombards, Bombards, Bombards. Oh, my Lord, the Bombards. They take out like 6 units, I think. It wasn't terrible. It was a pretty decent timing there. And keep in mind, he is also using the staggered formation, so it makes it very difficult. Like, to think that he just took out 6 units with staggered formation, that's impressive. I like that he's got the spearmen just sitting inside these as well to buff them up, so they're going to take a little bit more population. Big shots coming in from downtown. He continues pushing forward. Culverin looking to try and get some shots off. They're going to be able to take out the first of... I'm not sure what was on the front. It might have been a Mangonel. Now looking to focus down on that Bombard. It does lose its life. 3 shots from the Culverin. Now they're going to be trying to take it out. Beautiful shot coming in. I'm not sure whether we've got chemistry in just yet. We'll double check. It looks like no chemistry is in just yet, but I suspect we may have 1-shots coming in. And then by the same token, Siege Works will prevent that 1-shot. But now the Bombard's actually overextending from this position, and now the Donzo is going to be able to get on top of it, surrounding it, taking it out. And Demuslim might be in a little bit of trouble here. He is attempting to do raids on the other side of the map. We've got Imams out here healing. Over on the west side, we've got a gold vein that's still got plenty of gold in it, but he's going to be forced away from this position. Bombard needs to come through, but unfortunately, good game going to get called. Demuslim going to be tapping out here in this second game, and the Mister is going to be moving on to a 2-0 lead early on in this Play All 5 series. Fellas, check out EGC TV this weekend. We'll catch you guys in the next one.